Hey guys, it's me, Pat, and figured I'd do a little video book review for you guys. This is actually one that was brought up in the comment thread for the giveaway that I did. I guess last week was it? And it's one of my favorites. Hands down, I've read it in paperback. I have it on my Kindle, and that is Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. And this one's by a guy named Seth Grahame-Smith, who's also kind of the narrator for this book. It starts off where the writer, Seth, is working in kind of a general store in some no-name town in the middle of nowhere. He's having regular conversations with some guy that's just a real charming, friendly person. Seems real rich, well-dressed, all that other jazz. And he hands Seth this big stack of notebooks. Going through it, he notices that they're all journals from Abraham Lincoln, who's widely known as being someone that chronicled a lot of his life, a big journaler, for being as barely educated as he was. He was an avid writer, which is something that I've always... well, there's a lot of things, but he's one of my heroes. I think Abe Lincoln is just one of the most interesting historical, political, whatever people in American history. Then one day he's looking at all these journals, and this charming, handsome guy that gave it to him is in the basement of the general store with all these journals, and he is different. His eyes are black, he's got fangs, and he tells this guy, he's like, I want you to chronicle Abraham Lincoln's life, the way that it actually happened. And so it goes off into this, I'm going to say, on and off, historically accurate story of Abraham Lincoln's life from when he started as a kid with this kind of not-so-great home life, a dad who's kind of a drunk, a mom who's not well, and some brothers and sisters, all that other stuff. And then it ends up where the cause of his mother's death was vampires. And he swore on his mother's grave that he would set out to destroy every vampire on the earth, just rid the world of evil, sort of thing. And so in that way, it's a very Batman type story where he's this kind of like sad, brooding kid, and he decides to take it upon himself to rid the world of this evil. And so what happens is you get this cool juxtaposition between it being like this historical story of Abraham Lincoln going from a youngster to a man. And in the spots where information is kind of spotty about Lincoln's actual background, the parts that don't have information, they fill in with these over-the-top, crazy awesome vampire stories. Excuse me. And so, being someone who enjoys history, it's kind of fun because, like, oh, this is another story of Abraham Lincoln's life. And the part of me that loves monsters, which if you know me, that's a really big part of me, the part of me that loves monsters gets total satisfaction from it too, because these stories are so crazy, and you get it from his perspective because it's a journal, and he's talking about like just these violent attacks and how he's just like really BA with an axe, and how he gets himself like just real buff up top where he can like whip an axe a couple hundred yards and just... And it definitely, in a lot of ways, is a superhero story. It's somewhere between, like, obviously Abraham Lincoln, and then kind of like Batman, and a lot like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, without the humor, if you're a fan of Buffy, which I am. So it's got this great story that takes you all the way up until the time of his death. So you get the Civil War, which is the way that the Civil War ended in this story. It's actually really cool. Like, there's this amazing standoff scene where if they do the movie right, they will include this, and this will be like the set piece of the movie, because you see just like it's a no escape situation for Abraham Lincoln and his cronies that help him hunt the vampires. Like, there's no way out of this. They are screwed. And the way that it all plays out ends up being this really well written I guess action sequence, escape scene, but that's really truly wonderful, and I don't want to say too much more about it, aside from that, but it turns out really wonderfully. And then I feel like the ending could be better. It kind of weeble wobbles toward the end because it's like, okay, well, here's how he got assassinated. And they did something that I could have told you from a million miles away, which is they said, oh, John Wilkes Booth was a vampire. His story is kind of cool, too. I feel like they could have done a short story that was an offshoot of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, just explaining John Wilkes Booth from a, vaguely historical standpoint and tie in the fact that he was a vampire and he seemed to enjoy it. Which is something that's the only time the book where they explain that, like, somebody really revels in the fact that they're a monster. Which, just further demonizes the character of John Wilkes Booth, as if history hasn't done enough for that. So, yeah, overall, absolutely love this book. I think I've read it 3 times now, and it doesn't get old. It's got this, yeah, I don't want to say replay value, because it's not a game or a movie, but it's one of those things where you can rewatch it and be like, oh man, that's really fun. So yeah, that's one of my top probably 5 favorite books of all time. I'll tell you more other books that I have read or am reading at the time. If you look at my Goodreads, no, it's probably over here abouts. You can check out. It says I'm still reading, but I'm actually finished. The Future of Us, which is a story about kids on AOL 1 from back in the 90s see their Facebook profiles from today. And so that's really fascinating. I'll do a little video about that one too. That's fun too. But let me know what you're reading. Even if you're too shy to do the whole webcam thing, that's absolutely fine. That doesn't bother me at all. But you know what? Review books. I want to hear what you have to say about your favorite books or your least favorite books. It could be, you could tell me that 1984 is the worst book ever. But if you make a good case for it, you're still right. We can disagree and it can be awesome. So yeah, let me know what you're reading, what you like. Write a review, film a review. It doesn't matter. We're all friends here. No one's going to judge you based on what you like or dislike. So yeah, until the next one I do, I'll see you later.